Hey everyone, welcome to episode 250, Running a Marathon. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. So today's episode is not really about running a marathon, but it kind of is. You know how I like to have tricky and catchy titles. So this one is using a marathon as an analogy for life. Before we start talking about the marathon, I want to talk to you about pocket coaching and going to coachingkelly.com and going to work with me and signing up for pocket coaching with me, where we can chat, share strategies, share tips, tricks. You can tell me what you're struggling with and I can help you, whether it's something I've gone through or I've had a student go through it or my own kids have. And it's a great way for us to talk more on a personal level versus me talking to the masses from my closet and giving you advice from toddlers to teens, because I know that every child is different. So I try to give advice and give tips and tricks that can apply to any situation. And you know your child best. So me hearing about your child and what their triggers are, what your triggers are, what your upbringing was like, what kind of upbringing you want for your children now, will help me customize my advice to you and let you realize where you're talking unconsciously and then keeping the accountability for consciousness. So go to coachingkelly.com and go to Work With Me tab and sign up there, and we can connect and I can teach you to have more harmony in your home. So today I was listening to this TikToker. It was such a good analogy that I was like, this is literally a perfect episode for episode 250, because you know I'm an analogy junkie, and this guy says it best. So if you are ever having issues with feeling like you're falling behind or you're not where you need to be, or everyone else is ahead of you, everyone else, their kids, they're better behaved, they're on the honor roll, they're the best at sports, they're rolling over before yours do, they're walking, they're talking, they're getting into the college of their dreams, they're getting scholarships, they're valedictorian, and you're feeling like, I'm doing something wrong because my kids are not measuring up, or I'm not measuring up, or your relationship isn't measuring up, or you're going through divorce and everyone else around you seems happily married. If you ever find yourself in compare and despair, even though I've told you 1,010 times that everyone has their cross to bear and everyone has a struggle and everyone's at a different part of curriculum, I think that this episode will help you so much to realize that there's always going to be people that are a little bit ahead of you and a little bit behind you. And there's people to your left and there's people to your right. And no one is further along in life and no one is further behind in life than anyone else. So listen to this analogy and let me know what you think.
You got 2 minutes? Give me 2 minutes and that ends today, okay? When I tell you about my marathon of life analogy, anytime that I start to compare myself to others, I am telling you, this analogy immediately snaps me back into reality, okay? So, life is not a race, but I know you're not ready to believe that. So let's just say it is. Life is a race, okay? We all start at the starting line with our peers when we're born, and we spend our entire lives running toward the finish line. Fun fact, the finish line is death. Okay, we are all running as fast as we can so that we can all just eventually die. Now, think about running a marathon with like a ton of other people. Terrifying, right? But just bear with me. There's 4 kinds of people around you when you're running a race. There's the people ahead of you, the people behind you, the people running alongside you, and then we got the people on the sidelines just kind of watching, cheering you on, right? When you're running a race, where are your eyes? Where are you looking? You're looking at the people ahead of you. That's it. Okay, this is what you're doing every damn time that your friend gets married, or a friend buys a new house and they're doing all the things that you just haven't done yet, and you may be trying to catch up to them. Then you have the people who are running right next to you. These are the people who are right about where you're at in life, right? You're going at like the same pace. They're always in your periphery, but you're really not too concerned with what they're doing, and they are not concerned with what you're doing. Why? Because you're both looking ahead at the people in front of you. Just to catch you up, the people who are ahead of you in life, they're not looking at you thinking, oh, that loser back there, I got a house. They don't. I got a man. They don't. No. They are, just like you, looking ahead, either at the people who are outrunning them or they're looking straight ahead at the finish line, which once again, need I remind you, is death, okay? But then we have the people who are looking at you, right? And the only people looking at you when you're running a race are the people on the sidelines and the people trailing behind you, okay? The people on the sidelines are like your elders. Like they're running a marathon, but it's very different terrain. They're either cheering you on from the sidelines or they're hating on you from the sidelines. Either way, they're on the sidelines, so we don't give a what they think. But the people behind you, they are watching you. Okay, to them, you are where they want to be. They're trying to catch up to who? You! It's okay? And are you looking back at the people behind you judging? No. And if you do, well, you're going to trip over yourself. You're going to fall and they're going to pass your ass, okay? You also remember what it was like to be where they are in this race. So judging them would be really, really, really stupid. In the marathon of life, you are looking at the people ahead of you thinking, I should have a house like they do. I should be married like they are. Meanwhile, those people are not looking at you. They're looking at the people ahead of them thinking, I should have 3 kids by now like they do. I should have all my debts paid off like they do. Where's my yacht? The people behind you are looking at you just thinking, I should have a job like they have. I should have amazing friends like they have. So rest assured, nobody is judging you for where you're at in life. Everyone has their eyes on what's ahead, and eventually we will all get our time at the head of the race. And when we do, we'll see that finish line and we'll realize, oh, there's no trophy. There wasn't even a race to begin with. We were all scammed, just running full speed toward death. So maybe stop running for a second and look at who's next to you. Look to your side. Hold their hand. If you have the means, maybe run backward and give the people behind you a sip of your water, okay? And just take in the beauty of the scenery around you, the people cheering you on along the sidelines. Life is not a race. You are allowed to walk.
Isn't that so good? If you've ever been for a bike ride with your kids, if your kids are little and they're willing to go for bike rides with you, go on a lot of bike rides with them, even if it's cold, even if it's hot, even if you're not in the mood, even if you're tired. Because my kids are teenagers now, and I don't think I could pay them $50 to go on a bike ride with me. And what I would do to go on a bike ride with them, but it's just not going to happen because they might see someone they know. And I'm like, okay, and you see someone you know, you're on a bike ride with your mother. Do you think that they think you live alone and you don't have a mother and don't have a father? And they're like, no, that's just weird. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I do miss going on bike rides. I never realized how soon the bike ride days would be over. But when we used to go on bike rides, Grady would get ahead of us and he would race. And then he would look back behind to see where we were because he thought we were in this big race. And every single time he did with his little training wheels, he would run off into the grass because his alignment would be off because he's looking over his shoulder and then his body would turn and he's like going off into the grass. He didn't get hurt, but it was a good analogy of like staying in your lane, focusing on your race, focusing on your path, focusing on your bike ride, whether you're running a race, you're riding a bike, walking a race, whatever you're doing, it's exactly where you should be. And the people ahead of you are who you're going to learn from. And then the people behind you are the people that you want to help. And the people ahead of you need your help also. And then the people to your left and the people to your right and the people in the stands, all awesome role models for you too. So lock arms with them. Lock arms with the people ahead of you. Lock arms for the people behind you. Lock arms with the people in the sidelines cheering for you. And realize that you're not in a race and you're all in this together. And when you take your foot off the pedal and you just lean into gratitude and contentment on where you are and where your kids are, life becomes a lot lighter and fluffier and easier. And the energy in which you are helping your kids with homework, helping them with their sports, helping them with their extracurricular, helping them make friends, helping them distance from friends that aren't good role models. You'll realize that is what life is all about. I love the mantra, what's meant for them will not pass them, when you're talking about your kids or your spouse. And also you can say that about you. What's meant for you will not pass you. I say that sometimes when I'm thinking, I'm like, no, what's meant for you will not pass you. What's meant for them will not pass them. And that helps me kind of just settle in, live in contentment and gratitude, focus on my own race, staying in my lane and just enjoying the journey versus being on this big race to get my PR, which stands for personal record. When, like the guy said, there's no There's no trophy at the end, and we're all in this together. And when you realize that, the energy will lighten, and everybody in your four walls will have much more harmony in your home. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level, and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.